Sex desire is the most powerful of human desires. When driven by this desire, men develop keenness of imagination, courage, willpower, persistence, and creative ability unknown to them at other times. That's a quote from Napoleon Hill in his 1937 classic, Think and Grow Rich. What's up, conscious creators? Alex here. Do you want the concept of sex transmutation completely demystified? This video is for you if you want to learn exactly how to use sex transmutation to build up this extremely potent energy within your body-mind system and channel it towards your business, health, or relationship goals so you can create things faster and learn things faster. And so this is going to be a comprehensive, no bullshit guide on how to master sex transmutation. There's going to be information in here that I've not seen on any other channel. I'm going to tell you exactly what Napoleon Hill meant when talking about sex transmutation in Think and Grow Rich, and the 6 steps you need to master in order to be able to use and direct this powerful energy to power up your whole experience. I'm going to be breaking down each step so you can understand this process and you can put it all together for results. So stick around until the very end of the video so you can get all the information and you can apply it properly to get the positive results. Just a quick announcement before we get straight into it. I'm announcing that I'm offering a new program called Transmutation Mastery. It's a topic that so many of you are interested in, so I wanted to develop something that specifically applies to this. And some slots have opened up for a free one-to-one with me to see if you'd be a good fit for that program over at speaktoalex.com. So head over there or wait till the end of the video for more details. Sex Transmutation Demystified, the 6 steps you need to master. Step 1, abstain from porn and casual meaningless sex. Have conscious sexual relationships by all means. Sex transmutation isn't about avoiding conscious sex. Conscious sex with a real human being, a real loving partner, is completely different to some other forms of sexual expression. It's a completely different cocktail of neurotransmitters and hormones. There's oxytocin and serotonin being released alongside the dopamine. It's not just mindless pleasure seeking. You're entering the here and now with this person, consciously being together in sexual union. It's a spiritual union. What you want to avoid is wasting your sexual energy on unconscious sexual behaviors that are really just an addiction, a form of self-soothing. Keep that energy for yourself and let it build up in the body-mind system. Let it fill you up and energize you as opposed to satisfying yourself all the time, especially with pornography. In principle, there's nothing wrong with it, as long as everyone's consenting and it's not harming anyone. The trouble is, the way it is today, it becomes very problematic very quickly for a lot of people. Napoleon Hill wrote Think and Grow Rich in 1937. I can't imagine what he might think about today's abundance of completely free, instantly playable, high definition, infinite novelty pornography. Pornography and masturbation in general release a lot of a neurotransmitter called dopamine in the brain. And dopamine is the neurotransmitter that biases us for action. It gives us the motivation to pursue something. So dopamine is about craving and wanting. It's 1 part pleasure and 1 part pain. With porn, masturbation, and casual sex, we have the ability to spike our internal dopamine really high, often for free, sometimes as high as cocaine. So for some people, it's a bit like having free cocaine on tap. And we know from neuroscience that if we spike our dopamine really high a lot, then the baseline level of dopamine lowers. So lower dopamine equals lower motivation. And if you spike dopamine really high a lot, especially with porn, you'll probably find yourself with intense brain fog and procrastination eventually. When you stop spiking your dopamine so high all the time, the baseline level of dopamine will gradually rise and you'll find yourself more motivated, with more energy to channel into the things that are meaningful for you. The sexual energy will build up inside you and fill you up, filling you with new vitality and courage. Step 2 is get clear on your why. You need to bring to consciousness your motivations for doing this. Like I said, any sexual activity like this spikes dopamine very high, and when that baseline level drops, in comes the craving and temptation for more. Luckily, we have our higher consciousness, our higher reasoning, and we can look at our behaviors and decide not to be pleasure-seeking animals on autopilot. We can use our higher reasoning to decide that something isn't necessarily in our best interests, like too much junk food, alcohol, drugs, or porn. The trouble is, sometimes we just get subconsciously sucked into pleasure-seeking behaviors on autopilot, and we justify it in our minds as we go along to do it. The dopamine craving effect creates a feeling of this pull towards the thing that triggered it to begin with, and you need to come in with your higher consciousness and put a brake on that for a moment. This is why you need to get clear on your why power. Why are you doing this? The key here is to be really honest with yourself. Think, what are the pros and cons of unconsciously spending your sexual energy consistently? And be honest with yourself about the pros too. Let's be honest, it's pleasurable, often ecstatic. You can use it to self-soothe, you can use it to relax, but it also costs you your energy, and it costs you your motivation and drive, and too much, and it can make you brain foggy, unable to see clearly and take effective action. Once you build up your sexual energy over a period of time, you'll start to feel the benefits. You'll start to feel how it feels to be full up with this energy and vibrating with it. And when you're really clear on why you're doing this, you won't want to sacrifice that energy for the short-term pleasures all the time. You'll want to retain and build up and contain and channel this energy, right? Step 3, you need to be able to relax your attention. Napoleon Hill writes in Think and Grow Rich, sex transmutation is simple and easily explained. It means the switching of the mind from thoughts of physical expression to thoughts of some other nature. However, as much as I appreciate Napoleon Hill, he missed something out. What he could have said, and I believe this is a fuller explanation, is sex transmutation means to turn your attention away from thoughts of physical expression, and you turn the attention back around towards yourself. You become aware that you're aware. When a thought of moving towards the act of physical expression arises in your mind, instead of focusing down onto it, you zoom out. Instead of drifting into that dream world of thinking, you wake up and come back to your senses, dilate your focus, become aware of your surroundings, and become aware that you're aware. Mental focus follows visual focus. So if you find your attention locked into images on social media, the phone, or the internet, practice dilating your attention. Zoom your attention outward from contracted down onto thoughts or the object of focus, and become aware of your peripheral vision. The ability to relax your attention like this is particularly useful in breaking these kinds of addictions too. Instead of being dragged around by the mind and your thinking all the time, you're able to relax and become conscious and see your behavior from a bird's eye view and decide to move your attention onto something else from a place of awareness. You can put your attention on a creative activity. You can put your attention on yourself, which is self-inquiry or self-abidance, which I'll touch on later. Step 4 is being able to somatically experience the body. This means you need to be able to be with the felt sense of the body. When you're deep into a sex transmutation streak, you'll feel this intense energy build up in your system. And if you're not rooted in the body, if your attention isn't inhabiting the felt sense of the body, the energy gets trapped in the form of dense energy sensations, tensions, discomfort, or disturbing sensations in the body. And it can manifest into frustration, scatteredness, anger, overthinking, fear, and anxiety. If you're, like a lot of people, lost in your thinking a lot of the time, your thinking is consuming your attention, your consciousness, and you're not conscious with the energy sensations in the body. And when you're not conscious and feeling the energy sensations in the body, they get stuck. They don't get a chance to move and change and dissolve. But when you bring attention to the felt sense of the body, you tap into the innate intelligence of the body. Then you can actually feel when your sympathetic nervous system, the fight, flight, or freeze response, is ramping up unnecessarily, and when your adrenaline and cortisol is ramping up. And you can be acutely aware of what you need to do to regulate the nervous system. And so that leads us on to step number 5. You need to learn how to not be a prisoner to your nervous system. You need to learn how to regulate the nervous system. Once you're tapped into the felt sense of the body and you're able to control your attention and zoom your attention out, and you have the ability then to bring yourself more easily into states of calm, because it's only from that state of calm and safety that you're able to focus on the right thing and take intelligent, effective action. When you're in fear and anxiety because your nervous system is ramped up and the amygdala, the emotional center of the brain responsible for the fear response, is sounding its fire alarm, you can't concentrate. That's how things get deep into a sex transmutation streak. People complain about the inability to sleep, to focus, or to concentrate. And that's due to the attention being too consumed by this limited thinking and not enough awareness of oneself. You lose your attention in the mind, the stories and the projections, and that activates the sympathetic nervous system, the branch of the autonomic nervous system that controls alertness. And this alertness gets fired up when you don't need it, when you're supposed to be calm and relaxed. You get what we could call chronically sympathetically activated. Your nervous system is jacked up, which fuels overthinking and a lack of focus. You regulate the nervous system by being able to find relaxation within the body. And you do this by feeling the body from the inside and swinging your attention back and forth between the more uncomfortable sensations of tension and readiness and the more relaxing sensations of spaciousness, warmth, or tingling. This is similar to practices like somatic experiencing or yoga nidra. It gives you a type of power that you never had before. Before, you were a prisoner to whatever your nervous system does and you get dragged along by it. Now, you're able to feel when you're tense, when you're contracting and losing yourself in limited thinking, and you consciously relax, let go, and surrender to the felt sense of the body. You gently scan the somatic landscape, the landscape of the felt sense of the body, and put the spotlight of attention onto any sensations that feel a bit better or even feel good. And you pendulum swing with your attention back and forth between these sensations and the more uncomfortable ones, and you gradually expand and open up the more positive sensations, and you sit with them and you feel all of this as you go along with this process. And this will condition your mind for being able to do this more and more subconsciously. What starts as a conscious action when repeated, eventually becomes subconscious. So all of these things I mention are things you need to stick to master. Step number 6 is that you need to embody habits that support sex transmutation and support the flow of this energy in the body-mind system. There are particular things that help, like breath work, cold showers, exercise, and yoga. And these are arguably the big 4 when it comes to sex transmutation and being able to contain this energy and let it build up without it getting too uncomfortable, without getting too consumed by temptation, or without it screwing up your focus. When using breath work, you can use this breathwork practice, which involves imagining pulling the energy up the spine and into your brain. The sexual energy begins down at the base of the spine, and if you're acutely aware of your bodily sensations, you'll feel it building up in that area. And with this breath work, you take a deep inhale in through the nose, holding and then squeezing the pelvic floor muscles, squeezing your lower abs and then upper abs, and then imagining pulling this energy up your spine like drawing energy up a tube. As you take that deep inhale in and then squeeze and hold, at the same time you trace your attention from the base of the spine to the top of the head and hold it at the top of your head. Imagine squeezing and holding that energy at the top of your head. Practices like this have the effect of pulling the energy up and spreading it throughout your body instead of it being stuck down in the lower regions of the body where it can start to feel a lot more uncomfortable. When it's spread throughout the body, it starts to feel a lot more pleasurable. Sometimes it's ecstatic. You don't lose that good feeling of having an orgasm. That feeling just seems to start to permeate your life. A big element of these practices is that they involve you deliberately activating stress. And in that self-directed activation of stress, it's actually a kind of good stress. You're the one who's consciously engaging in the breath work, the cold shower, the ice bath, the exercise, or the physical yoga. You don't feel victim to the stress. You're choosing to bring it on because of the benefits that you get from it. And consciously choosing to engage in short periods of stress like this actually lowers the stress levels in other areas of your life. If you practice yoga for an hour a day, take a cold shower for a few minutes, and do a few rounds of breathing, you'll find yourself a lot more centered and balanced. You're choosing to come into alertness, but keeping a calm mind and nervous system at the same time. You're able to be with the energy as the intensity builds up, giving you new levels of clarity, confidence, and vitality. You're able to stay conscious as the intensity of the feelings build up in your awareness, and you remain as the awareness. And this is what brings me on to the bonus step, self-inquiry. Some might say this is a bit more of an advanced step, that many people need a preliminary practice to lead up to. But really, that's because it's, in a way, too simple. It's so simple that it's almost too obvious. Self-inquiry is about becoming aware of yourself. Not yourself as in the concept of yourself in your mind, but the awareness that's aware of that concept, the witnessing aware presence. Self-inquiry is awareness becoming aware of itself and investigating the nature of awareness, investigating the nature of yourself, because you find yourself to be able to build up, retain, contain, and channel this energy into what's meaningful for you. Your dopamine baseline level rises and you feel more motivation, more lust for life. It's this kind of pleasurable energy swirling within you, giving you passion and curiosity. In various spiritual traditions, we see this energy being cultivated as emerging from the base of the spine and traveling up the spine through the chakras into the third eye and the crown of the energy system. We awaken the inner life force, the inner intelligence, and we're able to be knowingly ourselves as this formless, spacious awareness, whilst this energy permeates the body-mind system and livens up our inspiration. And so I've given you the 6 steps here. Step 1, abstain from porn and casual meaningless sex. Step 2, get clear on your why. Step 3, become able to relax your attention. Step 4, somatically experience the body. Take a stand as the awareness that embraces the bodily sensations. Step number 5 is become able to regulate your nervous system. Step number 6 is that you need to embody habits that support sex transmutation and support the flow of sexual energy in the body-mind system, so you can channel it towards the business, health, or relationship desires that are on behalf of your true self and your true heart desires. So that concludes the video. If you put all of this into action, it will most definitely put you on a sex transmutation journey. If you want to be personally coached through these steps, you can apply to speak to me about the Transmutation Mastery program. On this program, I will be personally guiding you through these steps, giving you the guidance and accountability you need to make this process a lot easier and a lot faster. So if you're interested in that, go to speaktoalex.com and book a time for us to chat about potentially working together. See you in the next video.